Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Melissa, and if you enjoy cross stitch and quilting and even just taking time to be creative, then you're in the right place. I'm so happy you're here today. Welcome to everyone that's new, and welcome back to those of you who have been here with me before. It's actually been a little while since I've recorded a floss tube. And in fact, I actually recorded one back on December 6th of 2021. So it's been a little while. I was in the midst of teaching a virtual first grade class from another state and was spending probably 12 hours or more a day on the computer teaching and lesson planning and creating digital presentations and all of that goes along with teaching. So it made it a little difficult to sit down at the computer to do some editing. So I dug through my photos and videos today and took some time to edit. I've had a wonderful school year. It was very busy, but it was a wonderful school year. I had a wonderful class and really miss seeing those kiddos every day. But it was great to have a summer break. I was able to travel and visit to see family and friends across the United States. And I'm back home here in New Mexico. It's actually a very unusual cloudy day here. We usually have beautiful sunshine, and the hummingbirds are just outside of my window. I'm really enjoying those and just being back home. So I have been getting a little cross stitch time in, and I'm going to share a floss tube with you next week with kind of my updates from the spring and summer. But I thought I'd share the update that I recorded back in December, and you can hear a little bit more about my life update at the end of that video. So I hope you all have been doing very well and have had a great summer. So I will let you enjoy this floss tube episode, and I will catch up with you soon. So let's get started on showing this cross stitch finish that I completed. This is Chelsea's Chickens, and Chelsea is one of the cross stitchers, designers of Stitching with Housewives, and this pattern was released for her birthday, I think last year. So I started stitching this because it reminded me of my mom. She loves snowmen and cardinals and chickens, snowflakes, and I just thought this would be a fun thing to send her for Christmas and that she'd be able to have out in winter. She loves polka dots. So when I decided to finish it, I put a little bit of batting behind the cross stitch and then put it on sticky board and wrap the cross stitch around it. I found a little trim in my stash from back when I used to scrapbook. It's been a lot of years, so that's been tucked away for a really long time. And then I took another piece of sticky board and wrapped it with some polka dot fabric. So I'm going to show you some progress on a couple things that I've stitched on. The first one is this, and I've shown you this before. I made a little bit more progress with the little flowers, and it is a pattern by Alicia Paulson from Posy Gets Cozy. The problem with this is that I just pressed it, and I don't know if you can see this line right here, but it's where the fabric was folded, and I know I've had this fabric in my stash for a really long time, but I thought it was just a crease mark, right? But when I pressed it, it looks like it's faded. In the light, I just could not get it. The more I pressed, and in different lighting, I can still see that mark. And so I'm wondering if, because I had that piece of fabric in my stash for so many years, that crease left a permanent mark. I'm not really sure. It was in the plastic, and I don't think I had it in a place where it could really fade. So I'm not really sure, but I think I'm not going to make any more progress on this. I think what I might do is find a way you know, these little flowers or little elements here were done this way just as part of the design, but I think I may either add some more here. I think I may just keep this part and maybe turn it into maybe a little ornament or something, because this is really going to bother me because there's a lot of negative space in this design and I'm afraid it would show through, and I would be so disappointed if I spent so much time on it and that crease mark shows through. I'm wondering if that's ever happened to you, because, you know, I used to cross stitch a lot a long time ago, and I had a few things still in my stash, and I don't know if that's because it was folded for so long, if that's why it did that. But let me know if you think there's a way to get it out, or if I should just call it good and maybe try starting it on a newer piece of fabric. So that was kind of disappointing when I was getting this ready, but I love the design. It's really sweet. It's got the alphabet and, you know, some numbers. It's just a really sweet, cute little sampler. A little schoolhouse and some flowers. And I was just pulling threads from my own stash. I needed some greens, and I actually went to the store and found some greens to add. But anyway, that's where I'm kind of at on that one. So the next one that I've shown you before that I've been working on is Stitchography. And this is a pattern that was released by Fat Quarter Shop this year for World Cross Stitch Day. And you can probably see that there's a lot of cross stitch text as part of that design. And I really enjoyed working on that. Here's my progress. I find, like, I want to see. I find that it's really satisfying to complete, you know, a phrase, a color, and then I want to get started on the next one just to have a start. But then I think, oh, I want to finish it. So I love the colors in this. They're Cosmo threads, and it's being stitched on 14 count white Aida, and yeah, I guess that's it. I love this this was a little tricky to do. Oh, and the other thing that I found tricky. Okay, so you see this is written kind of on the side. Well, when I went to stitch it, I turned it this way so that, you know, I could see it better and kind of follow along with the letters. But when I turned it, I started putting my X's going a different direction, as if this was the top and I was going this direction to start and then return this direction. And I got a little ways down that and I thought, oh, wait, this is the top. I'm supposed to be doing, you know, my X's going in a certain direction. So I kind of ripped it out. I know it probably wouldn't have mattered since it's, you know, since all the words are separate, but it's like I hadn't gotten that far. So I need to remind myself as I'm turning this from side to side to kind of be careful which way my stitches are going. So I just love the colors on that, and I love the satisfaction of finishing up a word. So this a similar color scheme that I've been working on is, excuse me, my Shine On sampler. And I've made a little more progress. I think the last time I did a video, I had started a little of this, and I had such a hard time with this one. I had to rip it out probably 3 times because I'd go to start a section and I had miscounted, or it was off a little bit. But once I got, you know, going maybe about like this far, it kind of went fine. I don't know if it was just focus or what. I think the more you cross stitch, the better you get at it. So since then I've completed this, and I've added the little flying geese and started this little red block. It's actually going to be pretty big. So I was like, oh no, another big block, but it's actually going together pretty easily. So this cross stitch pattern is in the Bonnie and Camille Quilt Bee book. And it's by Bonnie and Camille of Thimble Blossoms. So the whole book is about different quilt blocks. And then in the back of the book is the cross stitch. And the cross stitch is very, very similar to the quilt pattern. So I'll show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like. It'll actually look pretty much just like this. See, this is the red that I'm working on right now. So here is the cross stitch. So again, I love those Cosmo colors. They're very much Bonnie and Camille's kind of color scheme that they tend to lean towards. And really loving that one. So I'm stitching that one on 25 count Lugana. It's Cloud Lugana by Zweigart. And I don't tend to work on that unless it's daytime usually, because the 25 count, yeah, I don't know, it seems pretty small. But I had a birthday recently and I've been using the Halo Go Light, which I love. And I actually, I'm not sure what happened. The cord was having a hard time making a connection. It's a rechargeable one, and the battery lasts for about 3 hours. Well, it was having trouble like keeping the charge. And I called Daylight and they replaced it for me because it has a 2-year warranty. And since I bought it at Fat Quarter Shop, they have a record of my purchases. So I was able to go in and screenshot that and send it to the company. And they very quickly sent me a lamp right back. But it has a pretty small, pretty small magnifier, and it works great. But I like to sit at a table with it. And just recently, for my birthday, my husband and daughter got me a bigger Daylight magnifier with lights on it. That's it can be a floor lamp or a table lamp. And so I'll be able to use that, I think, to stitch in the evenings, sitting over on the sofa with my family. And so I'm hoping that maybe some of these smaller count fabrics, I'll have a little bit of an easier time with those and be able to work on them a little bit more. So we shall see. I just recently had my birthday, so this is another piece that I've been working on. Okay, so now I bought this one in particular to work on while I was traveling, and I did work on it some this summer. But now that it's Christmas, I feel the pull to like work on it again. And I keep telling myself, okay, this is 10 count. I should wait and use that when I'm traveling. Well, I think since we've spoken, I've been in the car twice with it. And the roads are so bumpy here that I've just gotten frustrated and put it away. It's 10 count. So like it should be the easiest thing. And I can see the holes, but like every time I hit a bump, like my hand moves and I miss the hole. And so I get so frustrated. So, we've just been, traveling. We live someplace where we have to drive a really long ways to get pretty much to anywhere. And we camp and things, I'll take it with me. But what I've decided is that maybe I can't cross stitch in the car with the roads the way they are here. I used to be able to cross stitch in Kansas and do like quilty things, do binding and things like that. But, we've got bumpier roads out here in New Mexico. And I actually found that Kansas's roads this summer were pretty bumpy too. So we just need some road work, I guess. Okay, so all of that to say, I've completed the tree. Now I haven't put the buttons on any of these. I've got a cute little gingerbread that needs some buttons right here. I don't know if the candy cane needed buttons. Nope, no buttons on this one. And then the tree is going to have some buttons sprinkled around on it, some different colored buttons. So I wanted to get the, more of the cross stitch done. I spaced these further apart so that I could make a little ornament, maybe like a little pillow ornament. I'm not sure how I'll finish them, but I wanted to give a little extra room around them. So the pattern calls for white thread around the edges, and I had to change the white I was using from the called for because there wasn't quite enough contrast on the fabric that I picked. I'm using, it's 10 count Aida in Farmhouse Vintage Cloth by Lori Holt. So it's a little lighter fabric than what she uses on her pattern. So anyway, I had to use a different white, and it looks fine. I mean, it's great. But I was watching Java Girl Stitches, and she's done these, and she mentioned that she learned from someone else that, and I can't remember who that was, I'm sorry, but whoever that was that she was watching had changed the border to different colors. She did some in red, some in green, some in white. And I thought, oh, I like the variety of that. So I may try some in some different colors. I've done 3 in white. So I may maybe do 1 more in white, do 4 in white, 4 in green, 4 in red. So yeah, I think I may try that. So, you know, I don't know when I will work on it again. Maybe feeling the pull to work on it. Maybe I just will during Christmas, but I think I'm going to try and tuck it back so that I have something to work on. I don't know if we go somewhere. That's probably silly though, because then it'll never get finished. So I don't know. We'll see. It's hard when, okay, when somebody's told no, you can't work on something, then of course that's the thing that you want to work on, right? So we'll see. I do have plenty of other things to work on. So, okay, I mentioned that oh, one other thing before I move on. So this is a very loose weave, and I was very surprised. It has a very soft hand. I thought it would feel more like burlap and very stiff and scratchy, but it's very nice. It's very soft. And I like to sew in hand, but I'm finding that the holes are so big, it feels just kind of floppy. And I was thinking about trying a hoop. I used to cross stitch in a hoop, you know, years ago. That was how I knew to cross stitch. And I mean, that's all I ever did. So I'm wondering if you guys think it would be a good idea to try, you know, to stabilize that a little bit more with a hoop. I think I might be able to go a little bit faster. So that's one thing I'm going to try differently. So I wanted to show you something that I started for my birthday. I've seen a couple of cross stitchers mention that they really liked Al Forrest embroidery, and I'd never heard of them. And so I started investigating, and I got so excited when I looked at their website because they had this pattern called Strawberry Summer. And I just love strawberries. I know a lot of people do. When we lived in Kansas, there was a strawberry farm. Actually, they grew other things too, but during strawberry season for several years, we would go pick strawberries there. And it was right between the little tiny town that I lived in and Lawrence, Kansas, that was about 6 miles away. And I just have such fun memories of there is nothing better than a fresh picked strawberry out of a farm field. They're just, oh, so good. Anyway, this is Strawberry Summer by Al Forrest Embroidery. And it is a kit, and it comes with 32 count linen on Belfast linen. And it has hand-dyed thread and fabric in it. It came with a needle, a needle winder, and I'm going to open it up and show you some of the things in here. It's the first time I've gotten hand-dyed threads, and they come just packaged so adorably. I love these threads. Now, this isn't all of them, but I'll show you. You can see the variegation, and they come on these cute little tags, like tied up. And you have the little owl, and this is the symbol on the cross stitch chart. So you can very easily see, you know, which thread this is. I love that. And so There's several greens. There's probably, I don't know, 4 greens. There's another one. That might be the same one. Yep, that one's the same one. And then here's a little lighter one. And there's red one. I love the way they twist them up. So I've never really stitched with variegated floss before. And here's a red one. So I just think these little bobbins are adorable. And there's another green and a white. So here's one of the greens. And this is some of the kind of blue and white. And the needle minder, they send it on a little piece of cardstock that has the little stamp of the owl on it. This one's a strawberry, which of course I think is just as sweet as it could be. Let me move that for you. The little strawberry blossoms. I don't know that it's focusing very well, but there we go. The thing that I thought was pretty amazing with this kit was that it comes with, you know, the chart. And, you know, the chart has the symbol and it's 2 pages. So I'm not going to show you it, but this is how, like, big it is. And that's 1 page. It has part of the design and the finished picture. It's got the key for the fabric. So there's 2 pages like this, right? So you can see the full design between the 2 pages. You can tape them together if you want, like the whole big design. But the cool thing that they do is they sent another 2 pages. And in it, they've kind of got things separated into sections that you can just cut around. I'll show you just like a little snip of a corner. Let's see if I can find a good one here. Show you maybe right here. So you can see that there's like a dotted line around it and some of the cross stitch design, and it'll show you like the little scissor mark. And you can just cut those little sections out. So when you're working on them, you just have a little bit of a chart, like ready to go. And it's a lot easier to manage. So that's pretty awesome. And then it also comes with a little booklet. Cute little owls on there. And it tells you, it's got some in English and some in Russian. And it gives some directions on how to cross stitch. So I think it's a very well done kit. I'm really tickled by it. The count is kind of small. I've never stitched on dyed linen before. And I just have the smallest start. So here's my start. And I decided instead of the kind of mottled side, I decided to go with more of the even side with, it's just a soft yellow. So I wanted to show you guys this. So it's variegated, but the way the variegation works, I've got like a line of blue and a line of white and then a little more blue. And I'm not sure, I don't know that I really like just the line across like that. I did single X's as I went. And I don't know if it would look better, a little more blended, if I, you know, swap the threads, turn one thread upside down so that you don't see so much of a line. You know, like, oh, this was a white line, this is a blue line. When the variegation changes, it could be that I'm just too close to it. But I kind of stopped because I'm not sure if, like, to me, the green, I haven't gotten very far on it, but the way the green lined up, the way the shape of those stitches are, it blends a little more gradually. You don't see like a line of blue, a line of white. So I don't know, I've got to think on that a little bit. And you hate to waste too much of the thread, like, you know, picking stitches out, because, you know, that's all the thread you have. So if you have stitched with variegated hand-dyed floss, would you let me know if I should just leave it, if the lines like in a row are okay, or if I should try to pull it out and have it be a little more blended. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how to achieve that, or if I should achieve that. So let me know what you think. Okay, so that is, that was kind of my birthday start in November. I think that's all I wanted to tell you about that one. I actually got it a few months ago, but I was so excited by it, but I was like, I'm going to put it away. I left it in its packaging. I did open it and peek in it, but I tucked it back away, and I started it, my birthday was on a Tuesday in a very busy week that we had, and so I started it actually the weekend before. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. I have a couple of sewing finishes to show you. I think I told you guys last time in my last video that I was going to be sewing through the School of Sewing and trying to do one project a month. Well, that hasn't really panned out. And again, I'll tell you at the end of the video kind of what's going on, but I did do a project out of this book. The very first one is a pillowcase project, and I use that sleeping bag fabric, and it's by Timeless Treasures. In the blue polka dot is the cuff. So it is a wonderful pattern. We'll use it for our camper we'll have special pillowcases for our camper. But it's so nice because there are no raw seams inside. So this is finished very nicely. A lot of people call it, I think, the burrito pattern. The seam down the side is, I think they call it maybe a French seam. So you don't have any raw edges, which is really nice. So it's it's for a pretty big pillow. My mom has made these for us, and I've made some before too. And I think it's a little big for a standard size pillow. But you know, it works out. It works out pretty good. So that's the project that I did. I had one of those evenings where I was able to sneak away to my sewing room, I think on the weekend, and was able to work on that. It was kind of nice to do something and feel like I had accomplished it, because I feel like I haven't really quilted in a really long time. So the other sewing project that I did was this project bag. I told you guys last time that my mom had given me some poppy cotton fabric, and it's a new fabric company to me. So I knew that I wanted to make a project bag out of it when I bought it. So I found this green zipper in my stash to use, and it's a great tutorial. Elizabeth Ann can stitch. She's probably a cross-stitch YouTuber that I'm sure you've visited before, but she cross-stitch and quilts, and she sews, and so she's got a tutorial video where she shows how to make these. And on the back I used a blue, and then on the inside I just have, you know, some of the same fabrics. So inside I decided this will be my project bag for flea market flowers. So I have it all kitted up in here. I've got my fabric and my floss, everything ready to go. So that was really fun. If you're nervous about sewing, I would say follow Elizabeth Ann's tutorial. She does a really nice job going through it step by step, and I think you can accomplish it. It's a great small project to start with if you are wanting to do something practical that you can use if you're a cross stitcher and want to try sewing. So I have been working a little bit. Before we moved to New Mexico, I put together a kit of some projects, several kits of things that were already cut and I could just piece together and sew. I had this I imagined that I was going to get everything unpacked quickly and I'd be able to set up my sewing room and, you know, just start cranking out the quilts, but it didn't quite happen like that. But I did have some projects that I could work on and easily, you know, easily piece. And this project that I can't remember if I've shown you guys or not. I think I have, maybe on a quilting WIP video. But this quilt that I've been piecing on is from Sunday Morning Quilts. It's a book by Amanda Jean Nyberg. You may know her as Crazy Mom Quilts, and Cheryl Arkison. The name of this quilt is actually Sunday Morning Quilt. And they're all low volume fabrics. And I think I mentioned that I saw my friend piece this quilt at a sewing day. She was working on it and she pieced the top from the blocks that she had. And I was just blown away by how much color was in it, even though it was a low volume quilt. So I didn't really have very many low volume fabrics, and this was quite a few years ago now, but I've been kind of collecting them. And while this is supposed to be a scrap quilt, I did not have scraps of low volume fabrics. So, oh, and this is the label that we had made for my guild, the Kansas City Modern Quilt Guild. So anyway, I think this quilt is so much fun because it's just got so many fabrics. If you love prints, gosh, it's like eating potato chips. I just can't stop. So lots of color, but a lot of white space, you know, in between some of the prints. So I can't wait to see how this comes together. I am enjoying every single one of these blocks because some fabrics, you know, I had in my stash early on, and some I've collected, and just so much fun. So I've been piecing these together. I'm kind of to the point where I need to cut more. I think I still have some of this size strip, but I need more of these. So I need to get into my stash of low volume fat quarters and cut some more before I can go too much further. I still have one stack that I need to put this long piece across the top sometime. So anyway, I will keep working on those. I love making the blocks quite a bit. When it comes to, you know, sewing blocks together and finishing a quilt, you know, pushing through to your projects done has not always been my strong suit, but that's the other thing that I was going to tell you. When I finished that Chelsea's Chicken project, I have to tell you, I was so excited. I was like, ooh, I do like being a finisher. It was so fun to have, it was so fun to have a finish. Okay, so my cat is in here with me, and she's been, ever since I sat down to record, she's been sniffing around and checking things out. She jumped in my lap, and now she's trying to get to look out the window. So she's moving the blinds around. I don't know if any of you have pets, but she usually doesn't come in here. But I think because I'm in here doing something unusual, she has to investigate. So I wanted to show you just some things that I've kind of picked up as this fall. So this is one of the Halloween patterns by Puntini. I was not familiar with this designer, but I was watching YouTube, Across Stitch YouTube, and I don't remember which one it was. It may have been Bumble Stitches, but I'm not 100% certain. I need to keep better track of who recommends these, but this is a free pattern, and I love the little black cat and all the pumpkins. I thought it was just really sweet. So you know, obviously Halloween has passed, so this will be something that I stitch up for next year. I know a lot of you stitch modern folk art embroideries patterns, and I've watched some of Jacob's YouTube videos, and his patterns they're just breathtaking. They look very historic, a lot of samplers, and I don't know, I feel like I just am not at a time in my life where I have enough time to stitch such big projects. One day. But he had a partnership with Evertote, and Leo and Roxy Yarn Company, and I think they're a Canadian company, for a pattern. And Evertote makes like project bags, and Leo and Roxy, I think they do hand-dyed floss and maybe fabric too. So you could buy the whole kit at Evertote, and you know, you could get the pattern, you could get the fabric and the thread. But I was so nervous after seeing the way our post office is handling things lately. I was a little nervous to order from Canada during the Christmas season. So I did download this pattern, and it's called the Moonshine Cabin. And I think, what did I see? Evertote, she mentioned the word hygge, which, you know, is a big word in the winter time for being cozy. And it just looked like something very cozy to stitch. And it looked small enough that it would be manageable for me in the time, you know, the time that I have to stitch right now. So since I didn't order from Evertote, I did want to try some hand-dyed fabric. And so I found on Fat Quarter Shop that they carry some now. And I ordered just DMC threads. There's a DMC conversion. And then I wanted something that was dark blue, like the pattern called for. And I got this, and it's from Fiber on a Whim. And I'll hold it up so you can maybe see. It's got a little bit of modeling, which I like. I've never stitched on anything that's been modeled like that before or hand-dyed. But I thought, you know, it doesn't look like it's been drugged through the, I don't know. It doesn't look super distressed. And the modeling is very like gradual. So it's called Night Sky. It's 28 count casual linen. And I just got a fat quarter of it. So hopefully that will work for the size. So I think that one will be the start on the New Year's. I think New Year's Day, I plan, or New Year's Eve maybe, I'm going to plan to start this one. Now, at the beginning of winter, that's December, probably 21st or 22nd, I want to start hands-on design. I have their winter kit that you stitch on chalkboard black, and it's got all the different phrases, you know, the winter typed words and phrases on it. So I think that will be what I start stitching on at the beginning of winter. And then this Moonshine Cabin I'll start on New Year's Eve, because it seems like a cozy winter kind of fabric. So, okay, so that is my cross stitch haul. I also went, they had a quilt show here in the town that I live in, and I haven't been to a quilt show in so long. So I decided, well, I'm gonna just go check it out. And so it was a lovely show, but they had some vendors, of course, and I decided I need to support the vendors, right? So I got a few things. First one that I wanted to show you was, I think it was from a quilt shop in Pueblo, Colorado. A quilt shop. I think I said quilt show. Anyway, this was yardage, and I have no idea what I want to do with this, but I thought it was just the most beautiful fabric. Let me see if I can hold it up. Okay, I think it's upside down. The dark is on the bottom. So it's mountains, and it's got snowflakes. There's a little metallic fleck to it. And I have no idea what I'll do with this. I thought it was so beautiful that I'm just halfway tempted to put a back on it and like do some quilting, maybe a little hand quilting on it, and just use it as a wall hanging. But some of the people, when I was having the fabric cut, there were people standing around and they were like, oh, that's beautiful. And we were talking about things that you could do with it. So somebody suggested like a tote bag. So I don't know what would be good for that, but I just could not have that. So wintry mountains, just beautiful. So we'll have to see what I can come up with to make with that one. Okay, what else? Quilt show. Okay, so we have probably, well, it's not the closest. I do have a quilt shop. Actually, there's 2 of them I discovered here in the town that I live in. I had not ever visited the one, the second one that's here in town, but I did during the day of the quilt show. But the quilt shop that's up in Durango, it's called Stitch. And they have quite a few modern fabrics. They're kind of a modern quilt shop. And they were vending there. And so you could get this cute little tote bag with a pattern. So this is the Take 5 pattern. And the pattern is by Saginaw Street Quilts. And it came with this lovely selection of blues and greens. And I think it has everything except for the batting that you need to finish the quilt. So some of these have some metallics. You can kind of see the gold shining there. And I haven't even looked to see who prints these fabrics, or even if they're all one fabric line. They might be, since they all kind of have a little bit of a gold metallic fleck to them. This one's really pretty with the navies. And I love navy and lime green, and that little splash of pink in there is really pretty. So it looks like this is by Moda. I wonder if it's Zen Chic. I'll look at some of the selvage here in a second and we'll see. It looks like it could be Zen Chic. The selvage says, everything is better when you... Okay, then it's cut, so I can't tell what it says. We'll have to see. These look like they're fat 8s. Maybe it says everything is better when you dance. So, okay, this is a bigger piece, so this might have it. You can see some of the metallic in that. So let me just open it up and we'll see. Dance in Paris by Brigitte Teitland for Zen Chic by Moda. So it is Zen Chic. All right, so that will be a table runner at some point. And it's kind of nice to be able to get a kit and have, you know, small pieces that are just the right size that you need. So I'll have to fold those up and tuck those back in there. So I was able to get that at the quilt show. And then Stitch also had these little bundles of adorable little woodland fabrics. So of course this one caught my eye with the fox, and I'm not sure who has printed this. At some point I will open it up and check, but I haven't even unfolded these bundles. But I'll flip through these so you can see the mountain there. And then there's some kind of wood grain tone. Some little arrows. Some more texture. And then this one has some texture on it too. And then this was sitting very close to it. And I imagine it might be a different line of fabric, but I think they would mix really well. So this one has some cute little gnomes. And this is Art Gallery. I know it's one of kind of their basics. They have this in a lot of different colors. I've actually collected some of it. So some florals. This one's really sweet. It's got some bees and flowers. And then there's another one of those Art Gallery basics. I love it because it almost comes across as a solid, but it's got some kind of stitching in a couple different kind of tone-on-tone colors. And then it has some owls. So I think they might mix well together. And this fabric is by Moda. It's called Bookish, and the designer is Sharon Holland. I love books. I love to read. And so this fabric has books on it, and some of the titles are The Wizard of Oz, Black Beauty, Little Women, Beloved, The Hobbit, The Secret Garden, Jane Eyre, The Giver, Anne of Green Gables. What else is on here? I think did I say Black Beauty? Anyway, a nice selection of classic titles, and the color scheme is really pretty, but this is the one that really got me. So let's see, make sure I hold it up correctly. I love a floral, and it's got books tucked into it. So one of the projects in the School of Sewing book is a tote, like a zipper pouch. And I have a reading journal, and I thought, oh, it'd be great to make that, that zipper pouch just for my reading journal, and some pens, and put some bookmarks in there. And it'd be, just a special tote just for some of my reading things. I have a couple of pens that I bought on a trip up to Ouray, Colorado, at the bookshop there, that I might put on the outside of it. So anyway, I thought those would be just perfect for that. And then I'm sure I can find some fabrics that'll mix with it. Some of the art gallery fabrics that are even like in here. I have some of these solids. Like, I could definitely mix that in. Really, even some of these, honestly, would work probably pretty well with that color scheme. L.A. Goodman wanted to know how I twisted my floss like this. So I thought I would it's very easy. So when I took my, is this DMC? I believe it is. Yes, this is DMC. So I unwrapped DMC, and I think I cut it into, yard long pieces, because I've discovered I really like the loop method. And so then I just folded it in half, and then, connected it to a card with a hole, some kind of floss drop. And you just run your thread through the middle of that hole. I guess I could take it off and show you. So you just run the folded end through your hole, and then open it up, grab that thread, and pull it through. Okay, so then to do the twisting part, all I did was actually just twist it like this, and you just keep twisting, and you keep twisting, and you keep twisting. And you can tell, like, my ends are not really even, but that's okay. But this kind of helps me keep them from getting too tangled in the little bag that they're in. So then if you twist it enough, when you go to fold it in half, it should like twirl on its own like that. And then there's a hole there. And so I just kind of tuck my threads, the ends through that hole. And so it's actually kind of messy, but they're kind of twisted and the ends are kind of contained. And then I can just drop it in my project bag. And I wanted to thank you for leaving such lovely comments on my video last time. So I was giving away this pattern called Spools. So cute. By Thimble Blossoms by Camille Ross Kelly and Susan Lopiano. I hope I'm probably not pronouncing that well. Please forgive me. But if you are listening, if you would email me at the email address that I'll list below, I'll get this sent out to you. And then the cross stitch pattern by Bent Creek. It's the Plum Berry Sampler. It's got the cute little bird on there. Dreskin Daniela is the person that won this one. And then I had one other pattern to give away. It was a quilt pattern by Thimble Blossoms. It's Autumnville. And the person that won this one is Julie Jordan. So Julie Jordan, Dreskin Daniela, and Susan Lopiano. If you would email me and let me know what your address is, I'll get these off in the mail to you. So I'm so excited to share. So that's pretty fun. Let's see. Do I have some other things to tell you? I think that might be it. It's certainly enough. I've been talking for a little over an hour. So if you are interested in hearing a little bit of life update about what's been going on, you are welcome to stay and I'll share that with you. And if not, thank you for joining me, and thank you for, I don't know, enjoying cross stitch and quilting, and just having some fun looking at some of those things that have come my way and that I've been stitching on. Thanks for spending some time with me. So the last time I was with you, I had an interview that day and said that my job had been transitioning. So I had been teaching very part-time and teaching English as a second language. I used to be a first grade teacher and a reading teacher in brick and mortar schools in Kansas. Very quickly, like the next day, I was offered a position teaching first grade. So I wasn't sure that I wanted to teach, that many hours, but I've taught first grade before and I've loved it. Love that age group. And so I talked with my family and we decided that I would go ahead and teach first grade. I teach it online with a school in Virginia. And the company that I actually work for helps supply the teachers and, train them and provide support for them as they help fill these positions with a virtual academy. So I work with a team of 5 other first grade teachers, and then they have, all the elementary grades, and we have special classes, PE, art, music, that kind of thing. So anyway, my day is completely full now with teaching, and because this is the first year that this school has been existing, there's a lot that we're having to create. When you go into a brick and mortar school, you have, textbooks and workbooks and that kind of thing. But we have curriculum, but we're having to transition it into something that the students can see digitally through Zoom. So that's been quite a bit of work. I have been very pleased with my administration, and even though it's been a ton of work, I love the teachers that I teach with. I have the most amazing group of first graders. They're wonderful. And the company that I work for has been, very responsive and very supportive of things that we've asked for. The school district has been pretty amazing. So, everybody's trying to make a success for these kids so that they can get the education that they need in an online platform. So I was not expecting to be, working full time. And so that's taken a big, huge adjustment in, our daily lives and the free time that I have. But what I do know is that no matter what you're doing, it can take up a lot of time. And if you don't carve out time for yourself to do the things that you enjoy doing, taking time to be creative, that it's really easy for parenthood or a job or, taking care of a house, that kind of thing to take up all of your time. So, more than ever, I am trying to find routines and ways to make sure that I'm getting some creative time in. It's for sure not happening every day, and it's not happening every weekend, but I would like it to. And I read recently that somebody said that if you do something that you enjoy every day, that you're living like, a great life. And so I would like to try to find some creative time each day, but if not, every weekend. So gosh, if you have, I'd love to hear how other people are finding time. I've never been very good at, creating boundaries around, spending time with my family. I love doing that. We all have things that we have to do around our house. It's really easy to let those kind of things just crowd in and take away all of the time that you can spend for yourself doing things enjoyable. Some people are super good about just saying, this is the time, I'm taking this time and I'm gonna do the thing that I love to do. But if I have other things that are pressing for my attention, it's really hard for me to like block that out and spend time, doing something for myself. So, but I know that it makes me feel great, and I feel more energized and have more energy to give when I do go back to those obligations or spending time with my family. I feel happy and excited and enthusiastic when I've had time to fill my cup. So anyway, those are things that have been trying to find ways to carve out time for myself. And as time goes along, if I find things that I feel like are being successful, I'd love to share them. And I hope that you can share some tips and tricks with me that on ways that you get some of your stitching and sewing done. So anyway, have a great day or night wherever you are, and hopefully I'll be back very soon to chat with you. Bye-bye.